cultures and subcultures. And Sinikka has an untraditional background, being both half Finnish. Her mother came as a refugee to Sweden when she was 11, and eventually they settled down in eastern Norway. So she also grown up in this forest Finnish area. And 20 years ago, the Forest Finns were included among the 5 national minorities of Norway, together with Roma, Romani, Kven, and Kus. And the Sami actually decided to stay outside of this. I would, in connection to this story, I would like also to mention an event we have on 20 March, which is the World Storytelling Day, where we exactly have a mixed panel of a young immigrant from Middle East and in a discussion with an older woman with a similar background as the mother of Sinikka. So please welcome back also in a few weeks for that. Sinikka will introduce her songs in more detail, but I would just say that the music was developed in a project together with prominent jazz musicians from Nordic countries like Anders Jormin on bass from Sweden and the Finnish drummer Marko Onaskari and several Norwegian jazz musicians. And it was recorded on ECM, which is also having 50-year anniversary this year. And with our tradition of free events, we encourage you, of course, to look at the CDs mentioned and open your wallets, which nowadays few people have cash. Afterwards, we will be open to questions about music or forest Finns or, I don't know, women in music or whatever you feel like. And don't be shy, we have even an interpreter from Finnish to English, Swedish. So feel free. Finally, I would like to thank a cooperation with the Music Academy. Sinikka has been there teaching this week, and we have had a good cooperation to bring her here. So with these words, I give you the stage.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. Lovely to see so many people on a Friday evening. I will start with a poem that is from the medieval time and from a monk called Meister Eckhart. And I just found it on the internet, and it was called When I Was the Forest. And this poem expressed very much, he was more like a Buddhist than a normal Christian in a way, so he was very, very special monk. And I think that it expressed something that I find in this pantheistic rune songs from Finnskogen, something about being very, very together with the forest and the spirits that lives in it. So I also was thinking about that in where my mother came from, in close to Ladoga, there were this big monastery, Konelitsa and Valamo. And how has this also influenced this rune tradition? I mean, lots of the rune songs were collected there. So I think there is somehow some kind of interaction between that, even if the rune songs are much older. And then I will go over then afterwards to rune songs from Finnskogen. bara ge dro och lämna allt vi en gång var. Att angsten bytte, att flykt och spörsmål kom, och ge grein tårer vi aldrig känt för. Så jeg dro at denne til elva, jeg dro at denne til fjellet. Jeg ba om å få bære deres alle ting og er eneste skapning. Yes, as Henrik said, it came in the Finnskogen from Savolax area, Rautalampi, in 16th century. People to Sweden and to the forest in Norway to do this burning down the forest agriculture. The king of Sweden thought it could be nice to get some more taxes from that area, but they got free taxes in the beginning, so they started. And they brought with them a lot of rune songs, and we have found out that it was almost 400 rune songs in that area. And 300 of them are magical incantations, and some was lyrical. But Timolesio, who's a researcher that I work together with, he thinks it's because this way of living in the forest, to survive there with this kind of work, you really needed to have good contact with the good spirits in the forest and to protect yourself against animals that you didn't want to have into your cattle. So I will go on with one after Kaisa Vilhuinen. It's so much to talk about, but I think I must try to not talk too much, play, and then we can talk also much in the end. And that is, I would say, kind of bluesy feeling in this Voi Veikkonen. And you must excuse my Finnish because I didn't learn Finnish from childhood. And but something that is also about this text that is they are very, very old Finnish Savolax dialect. So if you don't understand, it's partly me and partly that they are old. Yes, but maybe you get the feeling. Voi veikkonen, joten kauas jo voin. Voi veikkonen, joten kauas jo voin. Puhut huikamaat luikka, minä vaivonen tääl on. Puhut huikamaat luikka, minä vaivonen tääl on. Huoletta, joten niin iso vaivaa. Huoletta, joten niin iso vaivaa. Kuolen pois, joten minä sua lähiään. Kuolen pois, joten minä sua lähiään. Voi veikkonen, joten kauas jo voin. Voi veikkonen, joten kauas jo voin. Puut huikkamaat luikka, minä vaivonen tääl on. Puut huikkamaat luikka, minä vaivonen tääl on. Huoletta, joten niin iso vaivaa. Huoletta, joten niin iso vaivaa. Kuolen pois, joten minä sua lähiään. Kuolen pois, joten minä sua lähiään. Hjärta, hossen hamnar jag här? Hjärta, hossen hamnar jag här? Trea skriker berga klagan. Du är alene. Och längtar så färt. Längtar så färt. Ta hennes bort om du inte får din hjärtens kärn. Joten niin iso vaivaa, kuolen pois, joten minä sua lähiään. Kuolen pois, joten minä sua lähiään. La 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 di lu di la la di la. Original rune melody, but as I told you that a lot of this was magical songs, and then they were not. There was no melody. It was more like to make it very fast to get this magic. But this was the original rune melody, and now it's also the same. It's after what do you call it? Old Finnish man. It was called Puru Juhan Pekka, and he was singing this song. Minä laulan lammin lummin ketun virren keikkutelen. Pistän pillin säkkiin, soitan sohilaa määnä seiniin. Näckeblomma vill ge inge. Jag vill singa ravens visor. Flöjta mig i säcken. Speller mens jag vandrar i myra. And then I go to a story from Kaisa Viluinen again. She was a kind of tietäjä, and she gave lots of these songs and stories from Finnsbogen was written up after her. And she told that there was a kind of tree that they called the köiri tree. It was two trees that had grown together in the top, and the one who died too early had to stand between these two trees until he was finished to go on to die, really die. And it was a sacrificial tree, so the one who wanted to have luck in with hunting birds, shooting birds, should sacrifice the biggest bird in the forest for that. And I think this text is in English in your paper, so you can also look there later. Du som bor i offerträet står i milda gyllene stammer, söver i köjde krona, väntar till tida dir over. Yes, already in beginning of 18th century, then it came Carl Axel Gottlund. He was Swedish, and he studied in Uppsala, and he heard about all these poor Finnish people living there in Finnskogen. So he took a trip there, and he started to write down everything, rune songs, everything about the culture, and now we can read a big diary about what he saw. And the next song is the rune song about the tree, is what he wrote down from a 15-year-old girl in Rotberget. Gode tre Guds reine skapning, spirefødd av moder jord. Du som vekste opp i lykke, lauttreet står i undring. Var treet liksom nedtynget? Honningbie, vesle fugl, salve fins i honningskogen. Bring din balsam, smelt i tremunn. Har du tretunga, vil mjukne. Heite tretunga vil svalne. Then I continue with a poem from a modern poet who also lived in Finnskogen on an old Finnish farm. And he had this poem called The Tree That Grows Upside Down, and as a picture of the dream. Drømmen et tre som vekser opp ned. Drømmen et tre som vekser opp ned. Røttene festet i himmelen. Røttene festet i himmelen. Røttene festet i himmelen. I've been thinking a lot about what was this logic of this healing rune songs. And in Malaysia, he told me that very often they talk about the mother of the bear, or the mother of the stone, or the mother of the tree, and use the word emu, emo, that you maybe have now as a mother of, as an animal mother. But before it could be also, not animal mother, no? Not only, no, because it's also a goddess in a way, or something between. And what's very interesting is that to heal or to protect you, you have to know, you sending this song to this mother, Emu, and you have to tell the origin. That's the origin runes. You have to know what happened before. For example, if you had these blood-stopping rune songs, and you had cut yourself and was bleeding, you had to tell a rune song where you told even where the iron came from that made this axe. So it's a logic that you have to go back. Now I'm going to take a wolf rune song, and here it's also interesting that when Christianity came, they put in some saints in the place of this Emu. So here in the beginning they're singing to Annika, or Sancta Anna, the mother of Maria. And then later it's Sankt George, who shall stop the mouth of his wolves, the mouth of the wolf. So they have got a kind of role as this Emu. We really need it in Finnskogen because there is so many wolves now. And really many discussions in the newspaper and even in the Storting about this, what to do with the wolf. I live in this wolf area because they decided we should have one wolf area here. And there are some people who are, and you know, they come from Sweden, they don't know the border. And but somebody want to have their sheep, so they even made a fence area. But the very big problem was that when they put out the sheep in the spring, there had been a bear sleeping there. So when he woke up, he could really go and eat. He thought he was in heaven, you know? So that was also very difficult. But Suman sulkikohan, hyvä mehän on emäntä, Annikka aviovaimo. Koiran kannoit kohtusansa, pienen pennun ternasansa, siimoi tipoi pilvistä, ves taivasta putoisi. Ota ja tiputa tiinaiset naulat, läpi kuun, läpi päivän, läpi syrjäyttävän sydämen. Annika Gråberg moder, skogdronning, skogkone, valpen vokser din livmor. Hun hang din under din milt, honning regner ifra skyen, tipper ned fra himmeltaket. Det lysner til spik. Gjennom månen, gjennom dagen, gjennom utsugerens hjerte. de Sankte Göran med Jönviksel och Jönsala. Vitt de Sankte Göran med Jönviksel och Jönsala. Lägg bitte över tunga, stäng gape, gnällre grinna. Lägg bitte över tunga, stäng gape, gnällre grinna. Jönklön i lufseragen, tegna gråta skommen. Jönklön i lufseragen, tegna gråta skommen. I Faderens, Sönens och den helige Ands namn. Yes, and then next I also combined a moose rune. Maybe you've seen this poster from Finnskogen with me and the moose. And this moose is real and it's just 1 year old. And it was in a moose park, but this park was so far away from people so they couldn't have it anymore. People didn't visit this park. So I thought I have to get a picture with that moose before they put down the park, and somebody had the carrots, but it was kind of scary still. Because moose is not really, it's wild. But I really like this moose, and this now is a small moose rune and connected with a poem about the slaughtering of the moose. So it's birth and death. Missä hirvi synnytelty, Karin poika kasvateltu. Tuolla on hirvi synnytelty, nevan tuulisen sellällä. Tiheillä tuomikoilla, paksuilla pajuilla, mahtavaisen olkapeillä. Taivaan tähtien seassa. Harvartarien fett och burig, harvoksgrushorsanen upp. Myrmåsen vimplig sig, häggeblomme krattetätt. Siljusnåre mjukt och säckt. Karlsvångnas axel in i milda himmelens stjärnor. Han skar hjärte utav den dampende varme hulen och kastet det liksär till lyngen i lyngen. mot det rykende röden. Servi synnytelty, Karin poika kasvateltu, tuolla hirvi synnytelty, evangelisen selällä tiin. Heillä tuomikoilla, kaksuilla, pajupehuilla, ottavaisen olkapeillä, taivan tähtien sijassa. Men för vi fick porträtt, virusgråten var hjärtan ledsnat. Bär en liten kul i det vita. Och då vi la på hemvärn med stora båtsäcken. Som rafset under baren glömde vi älghjärtat. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, and the last song is a winter rune, and I was just reading a book about from 18th century how extraordinary much people was freezing in the rooms and outside, and especially in the churches, and so I can really understand that you could need a healing for getting hurt from the frost, from freezing. So this is that kind of healing, but I also think it's nice for trying to get the winter away, to get the spring there. Ahakka heitä pyörän poika, talko poika talleroinen. Tähän vetää sotajoja, kesän keikut lehtäissä. Tuulen ei tuo tuulen alta, etelästä päivän alta. Jonka oli vasken kattilan keissä, sulava sulta kattilassa. Jolla me pakkaisen panemaan poispan, talviken pankeiautaan. Puhalla Jeesus, sulmalla suudan lähepäillä leuvoillasti. Puker i frost, du snøføyk fødde. Kuldeblåsten, kuldesønnen. Vinteren sitter du på skigarden. Sommeren gynger du i lauet. Kom, jente med vindmakter. Fra sør, fra nord, fra dag. Stig fram med kobbergryta. Og fjør som smørjer, fjør som smelter. Vifter frosten vekk med vengen. Vipper vinteren bortom berget. Blås, Jesus, blås. Med milde lepper, med smeltende munn.
Good place with the encore before any questions?
Yes, of course. If you like. Yeah, I would love to do that. Yes. Okay. I haven't been in the Sibelius Academy, I think maybe in almost 10 years. And I have to say that, wow, I'm really, really not surprised, but really happy to see how extraordinary clever these new cantaloupe players are. So they are going to rule the world, we can tell. They are doing so much exciting things in so many different fields. Well, a small rune song again from Finnskogen about a little bird. And this is also original melody. Liron, liron lintupien, kyllä tien peisais paikan. Meinalla männykällä, kuivan kuusen kuppuro. Tuulessa tuupais kalliolla kartanois, tuulessa tuupais kalliolla kartanois. Törpøyne bergeskaft, hemmedet i vinneskogen. Tiedon nyt on lintu pian, kyllä pian teisen paikan. Meinalla mäntyköllä kuivan kuusen kukkulolla, tuulessa tuumais kaljolla kartanois. Tuulessa tuumais kaljolla kartanois. I did put up this song, this book about the rune song. Some of it, some of this that I translated together with the Finnish people, of course. And but that's not to say I just put it up so you can see it. I think it's possible to find it in libraries and some here like this. And also Runoja is also a CD. Nowadays you can of course find things in Spotify also. Yes.
Thank you very much. Wonderful music.
Thank you.
I thought every song could be double length.
Thank you.
Going into it. Okay, of course the music is the most important, but if you have anything you want to know from Sinikka, you're welcome to ask, also in Finnish. So, feel free.
I think it happened with them, like my nephew. He said, "Aunt, it's not that I don't like your music, but I get so sleepy from that counter." It's something about, we talked about that in Sibelius Academy, how can we do things to, yeah.
Can I just start? Is that the counter?
Yeah, this is a big concert counter. Yes. Concert, yeah. And the originals, they had 5 strings, 15 strings. They were the folk music instruments.
Is it easy to play?
No, it's very difficult. It's very difficult. I usually say what I can do in one day in piano, I have to use 1 or 2 weeks in Kantele.
It seems does it have to do with 3 or 4 hands with the movement? And can I just ask my hand this to someone else? That board that you're pressing.
Yeah, that is to stop the
It's a
strings.
damper or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, very nice.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, can you tell something about your road to learning this instrument? You were not in the academy learning.
No, I was just heard about this instrument with my mother. So we went to Finland when I was 20 years, and I was then having some few lessons by an old wonderful lady called Tune Nikon. And then I went back to Norway, and later I was challenged to go to a tour with a girl who played nyckelharpa and Norwegian playing Hardangi fiddle. And then I got some more lessons, yes. And then of course I pick up and listen to all the wonderful Kantele players in Finland. Yes.
Have you been to Karelia to your family?
Yes, yes.
Listening where
Not really, but we had a family trip to see the place where my mothers were born in Enso, and she was also living then. My relatives was from Kaukkola outside this Ladoga, with the Ladogas lake, and to Viborg. She was also living there. My grandfather, he was traveling a lot with them. So that was really, I felt peace afterwards, just being there, even if it was nothing left. It was a really, really good feeling. Yes.
Kan du tala på finska?
Onko sulla kysymys suomeksi? Tai, jos hän puhuu suomea, oliko se kysymys?
No, I don't speak Finnish. No.
Okay. Is there a kantele tradition in Finland?
We don't not really. We have find the word kantele, but we didn't find any instrument. And I know that maybe a lot of this, of course, kantele was connected to rune singing in some parts of Finland, but not in all parts. So, but of course, the kantele could have been there, and then violin came and took over. So, but now there is a tradition with me, yes, and some others, yes. Traditions are also coming, you know, yes. I live there now 20 years, so it started in, yeah.
Thank you very much. I was trying to concentrate on the music that you were playing at first, and then I realized that I wasn't being particularly successful. So I decided to relax. And when I relaxed, I realized that all of a sudden I was very much focused on your music. So obviously there was something I was trying which I should not have been doing the way I was doing. Now the experience invited me to discover two particular elements which I need to separate from each other. The first one was the instrumental component. The second one was the vocal component. Now when you gave us insight into what you meant by magic, you emphasized the vocal component. You mentioned speed.
What?
You mentioned speed.
Yes, yeah, to do things very quickly, yes.
I have not yet learned to do that in this edition that we have had today. Do you have any suggestion on how one could perhaps fine-tune one's listening to appreciate that particular element, the vocal component, and the speed you speak about? Thank you.
Yeah, there are. We made one CD with the old recordings. There were recordings already from 1905 with these old Finnish people telling these poems very, very, very fast in speed, like I said, to make this. I think it maybe it would in a way be a little bit hypnotic. That's how you to get the other person into another kind of state. So this CD is called Tirun Lirun, like the last song. So in the Spotify or something, it's possible to hear some of these old Finnish people say this original. So of course I have made this into a more personal, modern concert variations. Is that, yeah.
Okay, what's the mood? Should we? I again would like to round off maybe with music, but I haven't asked you this before.
Okay, yeah.
Or is there
Yes,
any
of
burning
course.
questions? Maybe,
Okay, one small.
or a
is it-
replay or something.
Yes, of course I can find something. It's not very easy to do something very fast with this instrument. Yeah, I like to just take from this modern poet. It's called "Have You Listened to the Rivers in the Night?" listen to the rivers in the night? Have you listened to the rivers in the night? Have you listened to the rivers in the night? They speak of other things. Sa-di-do-da-di-do. Sa-di-do-da-di-da-da. Sa-di-do-da-di-da-di-do. They speak of other things. They send no laughter trickling over their sandy bed, and no song about girls' brown bodies that glide outward the bathing place. Or white meadows with the curlew cries. All the ferryman looks at the clouds as he rows. Have you listened to the rivers in the night? Have you listened to the rivers in the night? Have you listened to the rivers in the night? They speak of other things, things that are homeless in the day, things that are never and without words, without words. If you listen to the rivers in the night, if you listen